Well, last month we had a very, very chaotic European Preliminary League, but 8 teams have joined our other 20... what would it be? 24 teams? I think it's time we eliminate 24 of them to get our first 8 Global Trophy finalists here at the 20th Annual Global Trophy 2024. I am Masterath and I'm joined alongside
Sam Elliott, 64, and if you remember back, I mean, it was just the most chaotic end to the preliminaries I think we've ever seen in history, right? It was just so close. So many teams, the big surprise of, Bosnia bottling it and falling out of the, preliminary qualifiers again. Northern Ireland from nowhere, really, getting up into the top 6. Georgia surviving and isn't the dud team this time. Very exciting. I can't wait for this.
Let's get into it then. So our dud team, I'm pretty certain they've been dud team before. But first up, it's Finland.
Yeah, it's a shame, really, because they were in the top 8 for most of the competition, weren't they? But just fell out right at the end on goal difference. So unlucky.
Yep, very close. And, well, next up, finished 7th in the Preliminary League, Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland, one of the teams that kind of had that great run at the end, that immense 8-0 win, giving them all those extra goals was enough to keep them out of the dud spot. Fantastic for them.
Next up, 6th place, Bulgaria.
Yeah, Bulgaria. What do we think about that, Chris? Really, where do you stand on the Bulgaria? Are they underachieving? Could they and should they be doing better?
They should have been top 4 easily.
I agree. I completely agree.
They shouldn't have been very... I mean, they weren't really, I guess, in much problems, but they shouldn't have been that low down in the first place.
They shouldn't have been going through on goal difference, should they?
Yeah, definitely not. Speaking of, a team that I'd expect to be out on goal difference, but they've actually squeaked through this time. It's Georgia, everyone.
And on points as well. They made it through, by points.
Yep, 1 point difference between them and the 3 teams before them.
Yeah, beating Luxembourg on the final fixture. Immense stuff from Georgia. Absolute scenes. Limbs in the crowd. We love to see it.
Yep, great there from Georgia to compete in the Global Trophy European qualifiers here. Watch them get France now. Next up, it is Montenegro being represented by Belarus. Finished 4th in the Preliminary League.
Yeah, they had Australia as their representative last year, and they pre-qualified, and once again they've pre-qualified. It's going to be interesting to see how they get on, though, Belarus. I don't think we've seen them in the European segment for quite some time, so let's see how things go.
I think we've seen them in a Preliminary League at one point, but that's about it. That's a long time ago. Next up, it is Slovakia.
Yeah, the Slovaks have obviously been keeping a close eye on their neighbours, the Czech Republic, in recent years, and their success will be hoping to replicate some of it. I think, they've obviously got to be happy that they've pre-qualified, and that's great, but they need to be doing better than that.
Yep, and next up, it is Greece.
Another team, really, which shouldn't be having to worry about the worries of pre-qualification. They've done it, they're here, and let's get on with the business at hand.
Yep, and the winners of the European Preliminary League for 2024, the Republic of Ireland.
Unbeaten, winning most of their games. They only drew 2. Let's see how they get on in the main Global Trophy European qualifiers.
And with those 8 teams, we now have the 16 teams that qualified on their FIFA rankings. So essentially the highest ranked FIFA ranked teams that didn't make it to the Global Trophy finals last year. Kicking off with Norway.
Yeah, former European champions Norway back in 2013, so over 10 years ago now, but still one of the better teams in the competition. They love a shock, Norway. They love a shock. Let's see if they can do it here.
They certainly do, and don't expect Norway to stay low in the FIFA rankings for too long, because that Erling bloke's quite alright, isn't he?
He is an absolute alien, isn't he? He's massive, he's fast.
A tank.
He's skillful. He just does, he's a freak of nature. He is an absolute freak of nature.
Yep, and as that, and obviously players like, Martin Odegaard, for example, as well.
Yeah, they've got a bright future in the Norwegian national team, haven't they?
I don't expect Norway to be that low in the FIFA rankings for too much longer.
No, not me.
Next up, Turkey.
Turkey again, in recent years, I think they've had to pre-qualify a couple times, perhaps, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Turkey are going to be one to watch this year, I think. You know, they generally do okay, but let's see.
Next up, proves how low they are nowadays. It's the former Global Trophy champions, the Czech Republic.
Yeah, Czechia down in, well, like they might have to pre-qualify again in a couple of years' time, which is incredible to think about considering they are a Global Trophy champion. But they have to be treated with that kind of respect. They have won the competition. They do tend to do okay when they qualify, so let's see.
Yep, with Germany's victory in 2023, they are now the only one-time Global Trophy champions. Next up, Hungary.
Hungary had that incredible run. I think it was in 2019 where they went from pre-qualifiers to finishing in the top 4, losing out to Portugal. It was an insane run.
Yep,
since then, not really seen it, have we, from Hungary?
No, but they still qualify for the qualifiers, but can they get back into that top 8 again?
I hope so. They're a good team.
Next up, again, a team that has plummeted in the FIFA rankings, Wales.
I think they and Norway will swap around very soon because, you know, Wales in the past have had the talents of Gareth Bale, Aaron Ramsey, you know, players like that. These days, you know, Gareth Bale's now retired. Aaron Ramsey, he does play golf. Aaron Ramsey played for Cardiff. I mean, that's basically retirement in itself. Sorry to any Cardiff fans out there.
Wasn't Aston Villa in that league not long ago?
Look, there's levels to this game now. Villa are in Europe these days. You know, we're massive.
Never forget where you came from. The Championship at one point.
It's true. It's true.
Look at me back. Look at me down in League 2 still.
It's been a weird couple of. It's been a weird few years for Villa though, because we're actually good now.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly using that Jack Grealish money good.
Definitely.
Next up, Austria.
Austria last year. Was it them who beat France or Spain? Was it? Like they
potentially Spain. I know. Well, France got knocked out by Romania.
That was it. So maybe it was Spain then. But Austria love a shock as well. They're like Norway. They love a shock.
God, imagine if they go against each other, Austria versus Norway. Shocker versus shocker. That's what you want to see. Speaking of a team who, they do okay, but they've sort of been missing out recently, Poland.
Also, another team kind of slipping down the pecking order in terms of world football. Obviously, Robert Lewandowski these days in his mid to late 30s. But, yeah, a decent team in this.
Well, you never know. They may still call on him. I mean, Buffon was 45 when he retired.
Well, he retired yesterday when we were recording this, didn't he?
Yeah. Next up, Serbia. Or in this game, Yugoslavia.
They are always a dark horse, aren't they, Yugoslavia? They're a decent side. Not to be underestimated, but we've never really seen the big run from them, have we?
No, they've always been sort of there and thereabouts, and they sometimes have qualified, sometimes haven't. They've not been they've been inconsistent. They've been consistent getting there, but they haven't been consistent getting over the line.
Correct.
Next up, true dark horse, I'd say, Sweden.
Yeah, I agree. Sweden are decent, and they have caused shockers in the past. They've done okay in previous competitions. Let's see how they get on here.
Next up, one below them, Switzerland.
There's lots of things I like about Switzerland, but if anything, I have to say I enjoy their flag the most. It's a big plus.
And just like the actual flag itself, that joke was very square. Next up, 3-time Global Trophy champion Spain are next.
Yeah, they've kind of slipped off the radar, but they've been in weird form. Of course, they were finalists in the Champion of Champions in 2022. They couldn't get in to the European top 8 last time around. Improvements are needed from Spain.
So they do, and speaking of that, another team on the fall, Netherlands next, former 2-time Global Trophy champions.
I've backed them to have a good season this year, which inevitably means they're going out in round 1. But the Netherlands, back-to-back champions, the second team ever to go back-to-back champions. They won every game in 2020 that they played. They're a great team and not to be underestimated by anyone.
Certainly are. Maybe both teams looking for a resurgence in this tournament. Speaking of real-life tournaments, a team that's probably been one of the most consistent, apart from France, one of the most consistent national teams in football, Croatia.
I wonder how long that's going to last for, though, because Luka Modric, he can't go on forever, can he? He can't go on forever. Croatia it's a weird country in the sense that the population of 3 million, and they're so good at football.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is very, very crazy. Croatia have done decently in the Global Trophy before, but they are certainly not teams that have consistently qualified.
They have been in the Global Trophy Champion of Champions in the past, though.
They have, yes. In 2018, was it? I
Yeah,
don't think they were in the 2022 tournament, though.
No, they weren't. But in 2018, they made it to the bracket at the end as well, which is an incredible run from them.
Yep, and next up, it's Belgium.
Yep, the former world number one, slipping down the rankings. A lot of their, their golden generation, if you like, aging a lot now. Obviously, the likes of Romelu Lukaku, Kevin De Bruyne. I do wonder how long Belgium will stay as a powerhouse in world football.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too much longer. Speaking of powerhouse in world football, well, they're a powerhouse in the Global Trophy. No, they're not.
We wish they were.
It's England, everyone.
It's weird though, but England are actually, I don't say it quietly, Chris. I actually think England might win Euro 2024. And I'm not even just taking the piss. I think they actually might win it.
Well, I'd say they've got a decent shout of it,
The thing is, winning international tournaments is hard, right?
Yeah.
And only one team can win every couple of years. I think we're looking good. We've got a good team now.
Let's put that in contrast with the Global Trophy.
Oh, do we have to?
Utter bollocks, I think, would be the term for England.
Let's move on quickly before I get depressed.
Yeah. 15 years since their last Global Trophy final appearance. They've only made 2. And their last one was in 2008. Next up, 4-time Global Trophy champions, France.
Polar opposite to England, I think, in the Global Trophy. France, 4-time winners, 5-time winners of Europe. 5-time winners of Europe? Yeah, 6-time winners of Europe. One of the most successful teams out there, the second most successful team in Global Trophy history, and one of the red-hot favourites for this European section.
Yep. Speaking of a red-hot favourite, we now go into our top 8 that qualified for the Global Trophy finals last time round, kicking off with our quarterfinalists and the reigning Global Trophy champions, Germany.
2-time Global Trophy champions now, Germany. Back, winning in 2013 and 2023. And of course, they won the European section for the first time ever in 2022. So they're on a good run of form, Germany, at the moment. Certainly
are. And, well, next up, the runners-up of the Global Trophy. It's Ukraine. This is a stacked tournament so far.
It really is. All the big names are here. We love to see it when that happens. Ukraine, dark horses last year. Can they do it again, or was that kind of their fairy tale run over? Let's see.
Yeah, all the big names are here. Scotland's here, for example.
I said big names.
Hey, come on. They have made it to the same amount of Global Trophy finals as England has, but they did it in 4 years.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Scotland have been really good recently. They beat Portugal, of course, a couple of years ago. A famous victory. Former semi-finalists in Europe as well. Let's see what they can do. Let's see what Scotland can muster up here.
Yep, and it took Argentina to beat them in the round of 16 last time round, so certainly no slouches.
No, definitely not.
Next up, the final quarterfinalist, it's Russia.
Yeah, Russia, of course, losing out in the round of 16 to their neighbours, Ukraine.
Blood feud, essentially.
Essentially, yeah. Russia are a decent team as well. One to watch out for.
Now we get to our semi-finalists. First up, former European champions Romania. They're here again.
Yep, the 2021 European champions who beat Spain in the final on that occasion. Last year making it to the semis, losing out to Denmark.
And next up, the first ever back-to-back Global Trophy champions, Portugal.
Yep, 2018, 2019, that incredible purple patch. And Chris, this is your dark horse for the competition, isn't it, Portugal?
Yep, them and Nigeria, I'd say, are my dark horse, just simply because of the form that Portugal has been on recently. 5 of the last 6 years, they have finished in the top 4.
It's crazy, isn't it? They've been inspired form in recent years.
Amazing consistency, only with the one blotch that was in 2020, but they still made it to the Global Trophy Finals.
Yeah, they've absolutely taken this mantle on of champions, and they've ran with it, haven't they?
They certainly have, and well, second place in Europe last time round. Denmark are back.
One of the best teams in Europe to have not won a European title, I think. They are generally quite consistent and good at qualifying. They're a decent team. Watch out for Denmark as a dark horse again.
And last but not least, the champions of Europe, the European 2023 champs and record 6-time European champions. Always the bridesmaids, never the brides. Italy.
Ah, Italy. They are the hypno disc of the Global Trophy, aren't they? They're always there or thereabouts. You always love watching them, but they never quite get it over the line. Maybe this is their year, Italy. Let's find out.
Certainly could be on that one. Let us begin. God damn it. And here we go. It begins again.
Please tell me you saved it.
I did. Don't worry, I did.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
That was the first thing I did.
Pretty good, mate.
Right.
Well done.
Finland are our dud. Damn it. England would have got Portugal anyway.
Yes! Yes, we avoided it! Yes!
Yes!
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
Interesting matches.
Ooh, Scotland's got a shout.
They do.
Oh,
well,
we could see a rematch in round 2.
We could. Well, let's start off.
Ooh, okay. Denmark versus the reigning Global Trophy champions, Germany.
This is not an easy task for the reigning champions. They take on Denmark, who, of course, runners-up in Europe last year. Not an easy task for the champs.
Germany through, 2-1. Denmark gone.
That's a big scalp for Germany to start off with. And Ukraine, the runners-up from last year, take on Republic of Ireland, the preliminary unbeaten side. What an incredible start that is.
That's a big start for both teams there. Ukraine's gone. Republic of Ireland through to take on Germany.
That's a big scalp for Republic of Ireland. Ukraine, their glory run last year is heartbreak at the start of this one.
Scotland have got Hungary, and that will be a battle. Essentially, one of those 4's going through.
You'd probably say Hungary are the favourites, but Scotland could win this.
It certainly could. It is a win for Scotland. They're into round 2. Is it going to be 3 in 5 years?
Scotland will play Belarus representing Montenegro or Northern Ireland. 2 teams through the preliminaries. They will take on Scotland in the next round.
2 teams through the preliminaries. It's Northern Ireland! They're in round 2!
All of the home nations are through so far.
Yep, and Turkey are going to take on Poland next for a tie with Croatia.
I'd say probably the Polish are the favourites here, but it's not going to be an easy one for them.
It's Turkey! Penalty win for Turkey!
A lot of shock so far, I'd say.
Certainly is. Finland are going to give the win to Croatia. So Croatia into round 2 to take on Turkey.
That's incredible. What a great game that's going to be. And we have our first of our champions, well, our second of our champions next up in Portugal.
It's going to be...
I'm
worried.
The worst thing is, I'm worried for England. Where are England in all this?
I'm worried because there's no Italy, no France, no Netherlands, no Spain.
No England.
England are in the bottom bracket with those 4 giants.
It's going to be a big ask. And the Czech Republic, of course, they're not to be seen anywhere.
So they're going to take on probably a champion and lose.
At some point, they're probably going to have to get through at least a champion.
Yeah,
like,
if
statistically,
not
they have to.
2, potentially. Yep. Unless they go against each other, which means we could see a European bloodbath.
We could do. Portugal take on Belgium. Portugal, of course, the former 2-time champions. Belgium, a high-ranked team, but never really had great success in the Global Trophy.
Yep, they have made it to a quarterfinals before, I believe, Belgium. Portugal through this time, though, 2-1 into round 2 to take on either Serbia or Wales.
Wales can make it 4 home nations teams out of 4 through so far. Yugoslavia or Serbia will not make that easy for them, though.
Certainly won't. It is a win for Wales!
Wow, Wales get the victory, and it's a full Scandi-off here as Norway take on Sweden.
Yep, a dark horse and a shocker going against each other. Win for Sweden! Czech Republic get France!
It's a clash of the champions, the 2022 champions, taking on, well, I mean, the 4-time champs, France. It could be anyone's win here.
Yep, record 6-time European champions. France through! Czech Republic on! Italy gets Switzerland next!
Well, Italy have a chance here to progress further. Switzerland won't make it easy. They're a good team, but I think Italy are the favourites here.
Certainly won't the current European champions, Italy. They're through 2-0, and Bulgaria will take on Greece. We haven't seen England yet.
Or the Netherlands or Spain, but we have got another 2 preliminary teams taking each other on here for a tie with Italy in the round of 16.
It is Greece, 3-0. Romania take on Russia next. If England's in the next one, they've got a shot. Depends on who they have, I guess.
It does. Romania and Russia. This is a big clutch match between 2 surprise packages in recent years. Both qualified last year. That won't be the case this time.
Yeah, Romania semi-finalists in Europe. Russia quarter-finalists in Europe. It's 2-2. Romania through on penalties. Romania in the round of 16 again.
Yeah, and they will take on either the Netherlands or Austria in the next round, which means England will have to get through at least Spain and someone else to get through.
Yep, Austria and Netherlands here. Netherlands through! It's 1-1 win. England's got Spain.
They do. Of course they do. Slovakia and Georgia, 2 teams through the preliminaries to go through to the round of 16 here in the European qualifiers.
It's Georgia! Georgia's through!
I don't believe it! Georgia through to take on England or Spain. I know what's going to happen here. I'm going to call it now. England are going to beat Spain and lose to Georgia.
Can England make it 5 home of the 5 nations in 5? They can't. Spain's through. 3-0. England out again.
And they are the worst of the home nations out of all of them. That's so embarrassing for England.
Look at that.
Wow.
One of them's going to go through, and it's either Scotland or Northern Ireland. Wales have got Portugal. Germany's got the Republic of Ireland.
Well, here's the thing. We have only lost 1 champion so far in Europe, which is astounding considering how many there are. All of the others can all make it through, which is insane.
It is big. Can Germany, the current global trophy champions, kick it off? Republic of Ireland, the winners of the preliminary league.
They've been flying so far, but Germany are probably the favourites here.
Win for Germany. They're in the global trophy finals to try and defend that championship.
They will be there in a 4-week time, but there will be a home nation there. Will it be Scotland or Northern Ireland?
Scotland looking for 3 in 5. It is! Scotland's there again!
They've done it again! Unbelievable, the Scots!
2 in a row for Scotland, back in the Global Trophy Finals again. 4 now for Scotland.
And next up we have Turkey and Croatia, probably the 2 surprise packages going through. One of these 2, I'd say Croatia are probably the favourites here. They had the bye win in the first round.
Be nice to see Croatia or Turkey back into the Global Trophy Finals. It is Croatia, 2-0.
Looking good so far. This is a great European lineup, isn't it? Portugal, the 2-time champs, could join them, or maybe Wales.
Can Wales prove a shocker? No, they can't. Portugal again into the Global Trophy Finals.
They're through a fantastic effort and back into the top 8 this time around. France, the 2-time, well, the 6-time European champions, the 4-time Global Trophy champions take on Sweden, who have proven a shocker in the past.
Certainly have on that one. France through as well. Oh, this is going to be this is stacked so far.
It's incredible. What a lineup this is. Italy take on Greece. Italy, of course. There's always the bridesmaid, never the brides. The current European champions. Greece, of course, had to pre-qualify to get this far.
Certainly do on that one. Italy's through. Oh, this is looking big for Europe to get their 9th in a row.
This is a serious lineup, isn't it? Romania versus the Netherlands. The Netherlands here I've probably got the trickiest fixture to get past. Romania are European champions in the past. They were semi-finalists last year. Can they do it again?
They have beaten France before. 2-0 win, Netherlands through as well.
Well, all of the champions, apart from Czech Republic, of course, played a fellow champion in the first round, are through. Can Spain complete the set as they take on the pre-qualifying giant killers, Georgia?
Can Georgia do it? No, 6-0 Spain. That is probably the most stacked European card I've ever seen.
I mean, the only team that's missing really is the Czech Republic. But even then, like, are they missing? Like, look at this. This is unbelievable.
That is a stacked card.
We have
Africa, Asia, America. Bring your best. You need it.
5 of the 6 European champions are through to the Global Trophy Finals this year. Unbelievable.
It's big. Germany, Scotland to kick off.
Germany probably the favourites, but Scotland are in dreamland, surely.
Certainly are. Germany 3-0. They're through to the semi-finals.
Will they take on either Croatia, the surprise package, or Portugal, the former 2-time champions?
Portugal never won Europe before. They're going for it this time, though.
And we will have either Germany or Portugal in the final. And look at the other teams that are still in. France, Italy, Netherlands, Spain. They're all just powerhouses. France, Italy next up.
Yep. 12 European Championships out of 19 between these two teams. And France go through!
The Italians out. The European champions are out of Europe this time. Netherlands and Spain take each other on. Netherlands have won 2 titles in the past. Spain yet to win a European competition.
Yet to win the European Championship. Netherlands through 2-1.
Netherlands are through to the semi-finals. Germany, Portugal. It's all for pride at this point, but who goes through to the European final?
For a spot in the final, it's Germany through!
The Germans are on an absolute tear as they will take on France or the Netherlands in the European final.
It is the Netherlands in the final!
So, we have Germany, who have most recently won the European Championship in 2022, or the Netherlands in 2020, who is taking home the 2024 European title.
It's the Netherlands! They've done it! They've beaten Germany!
Wow, a run and a half from the Netherlands as they take home the European title for 2024. What an absolutely incredible lineup we've got from Europe.
An absolute stacked card sees the Netherlands back. Are they fully back, though?
I mean, I feel slightly smug that I had them down as a tip for the start of the tournament now.
Certainly, but hey, both tips made it through. Portugal's there too.
Just look at this lineup.
Look at that card, Jesus.
Germany and Scotland, Croatia and Portugal, France and Italy, and the Netherlands and Spain.
And England out in round 1 again.
They lost to Spain.
They lost to Spain. If Spain go with this.
All I'm saying is, England are currently in Spain without the S.
Yes, and Scotland through to their 3rd Global Trophy Finals in 5 years. Oh, the comments will be proud of that. They'll be happy about that. England out in round 1 again. Scotland through to another Global Trophy Finals. Are we going to see Scotland in the Champion of Champions?
I mean, at this rate, they might do.
At this rate, they're doing it. Because they were round of 16 last time round in the last tournament.
They might get it. You never know. But I mean, look. This is a long way to go. But I think Europe are going to be tough to beat this time. They've got all of their big hitters in there. They've got, the only champion missing is Czech Republic, and they were just unlucky to face France in the first round.
But you'd even say, for example, having Italy in there as well, who's not a champion. Really strong. Croatia, a really strong side. Scotland have been consistent over the last couple of years. So I still think that is probably the most stacked card I've seen from a European bracket.
Yeah,
they're going to be tough to beat this year.
They really are. But the Netherlands winning Europe, that's a big claim, especially when you consider who they beat along the way, beating France, Germany, and Spain in a row. That's crazy.
Yeah, and conceding 1 goal.
Yeah, brilliant run from the Netherlands.
It's a big run for the Netherlands there, but how will that transpire in 4 weeks' time? Well, unfortunately, we've got to wait 4 weeks for that. But next week, we have the Asian qualifiers. Can Japan make it 3 in 4 years and win the Asian section to go alongside Saudi Arabia and Australia as 4-time Asian champions?
It's every chance. I mean, I think as well, can Australia reclaim the title?
Yeah, can Australia or Saudi Arabia break that 4-title deadlock?
Maybe the UAE, who had that amazing run to the finals last year, can they get their first ever Asian title?
Yep, made it to semi-finalists. So there's certainly some big teams in there, and that's going to be interesting next week, where we will see the Asian qualifiers. But folks, that is the end of the European qualifiers here at the 2024 Global Trophy. I've been Masterath.
I've been Sven-Göran Eriksson.
And we'll see you next week for the Asia qualifiers. Also, England's out again.
What a shocker.
No one's surprised at this point. We'll see you next week.